Tropical Storm Harvey has caused at least 30 deaths, forced 30,000 people from their homes, destroyed in the range of $10 to $20 billion of property. Estimates are now $160 billion plus in economic losses. As much as 8 feet of water. I'm sure you've seen the pictures in some areas. Certainly I don't have the words to do justice to that hardship and devastation that some people have experienced. But smack dab in the middle of the devastation, we had both the New York Times and the Washington Post take their anti-Trump fixation to a pathological level in deciding that the height of Melania Trump's high-heel shoes as she entered Air Force One for the trip from Washington to Texas to look at the devastation firsthand was newsworthy. I invite you to think about that. At the height of what some are calling the most devastating storm in 1,000 years, amidst all the human devastation and drama, the New York Times, the Washington Post feel it's actually necessary to publish a story on the height of Melania Trump's high heels in an effort to discredit her, I guess, in some way. Because that says a heck of a lot more about the editorial staff and the reporters at on those two newspapers than it does about the First Lady, who, by the way, when she exited the plane was wearing running shoes, but they didn't talk about that. So really think about this story. You are just desperate to present something negative when you're doing that. Any objective person, any objective journalist would call reporting like this nonsense or a lot worse. But not the New York Times and Washington Post. That blatant bias, like this masquerading as news, lowers the public's opinion of the mainstream media while undermining the journalistic standards of every single person who actually works at those newspapers. Not only do the Times and the Washington Post deserve this week's Goofy, my goodness, I think they deserve their heads stuck in a bag of Goofies till they turn blue.